Today we got a real good show for y'all, real good. So some people say, oh, like the Hodge twins. I said that a long time ago, so if that's your comment here, that's fine. Okay, so I made a video already about belt promotions, right? And I know it might have rubbed some people the wrong way, and that was the intention, because if you're training in jiu-jitsu, I think your goal should be more about learning the art than getting stripes and colorful belts. So today we're going to talk about a different aspect that I didn't cover. So this will be Belt Promotions Volume 2. So each school will have its own standards, right? If you think about it, a highly competitive jiu-jitsu school will probably have different standards of a school that doesn't compete. It's just the way it is. Most of the time, a competitive school will have teachers that were very competitive themselves. And those schools are very well known. You know, Andre Gaval from Altos, obviously an amazing school, amazing students and competitors that breeds champions. Same thing with the Art of Jiu-Jitsu with the Mendez brothers. Henzo's academies with all champions there, or amazing teachers that breeds champions. So some places might have different standards, but you have other schools that are not competitive schools with also amazing teachers, and they might have different standards according to pretty much how they promote people. And I'll go over what that is. So there's two different categories of people, you could say, within jiu-jitsu. There's the hobbyists that are ones that are just doing it because they love it. They get some exercise. It's like therapy for them. They love learning. It gives them some confidence. It helps them deal with life a lot better. So it impacts them in a very positive way where, you know, you'll hear people say, oh, jiu-jitsu saved my life. So they're training, and that's one section, right? And then there's subcategories. So in that, you'll have the younger people and the older people. We'll just make it super easy. And then on the other end, you have the competitive schools. The competitive schools will have younger and older students also. Okay, so even if it's a competitive school, you might not have people that compete within that school. You have people that just go there because they know it has a good reputation and they know that their money will be invested in themselves in the right way. Okay, so when you have that school, their standards are going to be a little bit different than the schools that don't have a bunch of competitors and have more hobbyists there. Okay, still within that school that you have a lot of hobbyists, you'll always have a handful of competitors because that's how just jiu-jitsu is. So we'll focus a little bit more on the hobbyist, I guess, school, where the schools has people that compete, but it's not known for being a school that's just breeds competitors and champions like that. And a champion, of course, has many definitions and meanings to it. So when you look at a school that does have a few people that compete, but it's mostly people who go there just to enjoy the art of jiu-jitsu for all its benefits, you'll have people in different age groups, right? So the younger person in general has more time on their hands, more freedom to train, more time to train, and more time to focus on training, right? Because they have less responsibilities. They might either still be living at their home, going through high school, college, or they just got out of college and they finally got their first job and don't have any responsibilities for a family, right? So these people could dedicate a lot more time to jiu-jitsu, and usually they do if they get the jiu-jitsu bug, right? So these people go and train a lot and they love it, and it's a beautiful thing. And with them, you know, the belts will come, the stripes will come according to the standards of the teacher, right? And the amount of progression itself, you'll see a little bit quicker for most younger people. They don't have injuries, they're young. When you're young, you're like invincible, you don't get hurt as much, you recover a lot quicker, so this keeps you training more frequently. Now you'll have the other division of people, which are the older people. This is anybody, you could say, from mid-30s and up, right, to any age now. So these people do have a career, but they do usually have a responsibility also. whether it's working a lot more for themselves as a business, them supporting a family, having young kids. These people don't have as much time to dedicate to jiu-jitsu just because life happens, and this is perfectly okay too. Also, when you start to break the late 30s and go into your 40s and 50s and up, your body doesn't recover the same way. So you can't be bojada, training every day really hard. It's like you can't do that anymore. And if you do that, and you're able to, God bless you, but that's a rarity. If anything, you set yourself up for a high risk of getting injured and then no jiu-jitsu for either a good amount of time or ever again, and that's not good.
Because I want to train every day. We all want to train every day, actually, and we have to take time off.
Well, how do I train? Okay, I always have people visiting me, and being a teacher, I know the students what they mind. Like some with the experience of the years, like I can feel the way they approach. So like I said, I'll train every day a little bit with the right person and the right amount. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna do 10 rows today because I feel good. I wanna feel good every day. Because if I do too much today, tomorrow I'm not doing. So you have to do a little bit of exercise and training with the people. I really enjoy training with the black belts because they're more technical, or at least the brown or black, and with the girls. Because the girls...
You don't roll as much with blues and purples anymore?
A little bit. Sometimes you roll with the blue belts and purple belts, and they try to show off, and next thing you know, you see he try to wrist lock. I say, hey, take it easy, my man. It's nothing like I say should not, but so you want to go in their way, so so it's better when you roll. I get so many people visiting, and in my school a lot of black belts, so they already know. They take it easy, let's roll.
That was just a quick example of how to train as you get older. Also, since somebody's older, it takes longer to recover, and it depends on how you joined jiu-jitsu to begin with. Did you join there as a very fit and functional person? Were you athletic? Did you work out? Did you come from another martial art that you've been doing all your life? Or did you come there deconditioned and not working out or doing anything for the past even year or so? So, when you're older, it makes a big difference, because now that plays a major role. But also, as you're older, you can't train every single day unless you're going really easy, right? But if you're training somewhat normally, you need time to recover. And if you don't, you're putting yourself at a higher risk of getting hurt. So what does this have to do with belt promotions? So, when somebody hits their 40s and 50s and 60s, their training has to be very different. Who they roll with has to be very different. Who they pick to roll with, because the crazy wild person's gonna get you injured. You're here to enjoy jiu-jitsu, but also have a high quality of life. If you're injured, you tear your knee because the new kid learned the heel hook on YouTube and didn't know how to apply, but he did it to you because you have a purple or brown belt and you're a grown man, and if they finish you, they feel they achieved something. Now you're not training for a while, or maybe ever again. So the thing that ends up happening is, when you're older, you might not be able to commit as much time to jiu-jitsu, not because you don't want to, because life happens. So the promotions are relatively different with the older people. Why? Because also your body can only do so many things as you get older. So when you look at the fancy jiu-jitsu techniques where somebody's doing a cartwheel or a forward flip to pass the guard, and all these things, you're not going to probably be doing that as you're older. You could be brave and try it, but it's something that you're not going to be doing all the time, because you'll end up in the hospital. So you'll start to take the techniques that work for an older body. And this is perfectly normal, where you're going to be doing the timeless jiu-jitsu and not the fancy stuff that is time-bound, because you can only do that as you're young and athletic. So this will be noticeable, obviously, from an experienced teacher and with your own training. And the teacher itself will promote you accordingly. So not saying that the teachers will be more giving and more lenient with an older person. They should be more understanding of their capacity and what they're capable of doing. You could be a great technician and understand everything with jiu-jitsu, but your body could only do certain things. So sometimes you might see somebody who's a little bit older that got a purple or brown belt and finally worked up to black, where you go, well, that guy's not that athletic. He doesn't give me a run for my money. I'm only 22 years old. He's in his 50s. He's a grown man. Yeah, he's a grown man. He's, in your 50s, things change drastically. So it's like you shouldn't be comparing one age versus the other. So a 25-year-old shouldn't go into jiu-jitsu thinking, oh, I'm going to go try to beat the hell out of that 55-year-old man because he has a brown belt or a black belt. And if I do that, I'll prove something. And the same thing, the older man, you should be wiser, older and wiser, where your ego doesn't come into play, where you have to challenge yourself that puts you in danger of getting hurt. So you'll see when it comes to promotions, sometimes the older person that has put in the time and the effort, but still has some restrictions because of age, will get promoted maybe a little bit faster than somebody who's a lot younger that, outperforms that person. But that person's dedication to the art is what really counts. Their ability, everybody's ability will start to slowly go down over time, where certain moves that used to be your move, that used to go for, you're not capable of doing it anymore just because of age. That's why the old school jiu-jitsu is timeless. A lot of the new school stuff that's very acrobatic and athletic, if that's your game and that's all you have, wait till you get older and you start to go on a decline, because everybody does. Nobody thinks that's possible in their 20s till they hit their 40s and 50s and they go, oh my God, age does matter. And being an older trainer, a practitioner, you should start to, if your teacher's not doing it for you, you should be picky for who you roll with, so you could still train for as long as you're on this planet, because that's the beautiful thing. If you look at the videos that I even posted in here and the other videos with clips of Elio Gracie, it's like he's in his 80s and 90s. He's not rolling, but he's doing jiu-jitsu and he's sharing it. That's beautiful within itself. So when it comes to promotions, things are going to be looked at very differently according to age, right? So the older person, not that they're going to get promoted more easily, the teacher has an understanding that they have limitations physically. So it's like, how much more can you expect from somebody besides their understanding of jiu-jitsu? Because that's just as important or more important when you start to get older. The younger person will have to prove themselves with knowledge and skill because they still have that ability because of their age. And this is something that people need to look at when it comes to belt promotions. It's just, this is life, right? When you look at the competitive schools, you'll have the teachers have a certain standard because everything is gauged around competition. How are you doing in competition? How are you doing against the other students in class? And even in a school that's not filled with competitors, the teacher will have a different outlook on their promotion for the competitors. Let's just put it that way. So if you're competing, the teacher who's doing the right thing is not going to promote you prematurely and then throw you into the lines then when you go to compete and you get annihilated because you're a high-level blue belt, but you're not a purple belt yet. So not that they'll hold you back, but they'll protect you by saying, okay, let's keep competing at blue belt because right now you're not ready for purple in the competition realm. Because if they do prematurely promote you, now you go into purple belt division and you're not ready for it, you're not going to enjoy it, right? It's like, man, why am I getting beat up? Why am I having such a hard time? It's because they should have waited for you to be a purple belt for a little while before they promoted you, just because they know that you're training and you're competing. It's a totally different thing. So usually if you're a competitor, you might have to wait a little longer for the next belt. And the thing is, you might know that, and everybody else might know too, that it's like, man, you haven't gotten promoted yet? It's like, yeah. It's like, why? Because the teacher's trying to take care of you. You know, it's not about sandbagging. It's about preparing you to be ready for that next level when you're going to compete. So these are like the different mindsets that teachers will have when it comes to promoting. And the only reason why I'm even sharing this stuff is so it helps you understand a little bit, so you could stay motivated and either not complain about not getting promoted, but not look to get promoted prematurely, depending on your goals, and then not look at somebody thinking if you're going to beat them that you deserve to get promoted because that guy's 30 years older than you. You know, so all these things come into play when it comes to your performance, you understanding jiu-jitsu, the teacher noticing all these things, the students noticing all these things. Like there's somebody, I don't know what the video is, I'll look for it and I'll post it here actually at the end. I think the man's in his 70s or 80s he gets promoted. I forgot what school it was. It was a very funny belt promotion. You know, I won't put the whole thing. But it's like, wow, how is he able to train? Why did he get his black belt? Man, the guy's been training 20 years. And he's been dedicated, and he loves it. He started maybe in his 60s. You got to give that guy a lot of credit for starting out something so brutal on the body like jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the toughest thing. I never got any injuries really in other martial arts. I broke my hand, I've broken my nose from boxing and stuff and Muay Thai, but I never had any injuries like I sustained from jiu-jitsu. So you have this guy who's, you know, in his 60s, 70s doing jiu-jitsu. It's a beautiful thing. And then you can have some young kid goes, oh, I could kick his ass in class. Is that something to be proud of? Why are you comparing? You know, usually when you start to compare yourself to everybody, you have to start to look in the mirror at yourself and really reflect, why are you projecting that? Why are you putting yourself in this position of comparing? Why are you putting yourself against somebody? This person's just there to learn and enjoy and do their thing. You should be focused on yourself, not the other person, their belt, and that's it. Because a younger person doesn't think of age because they're not there yet, so they focus on the belt. You know, I want to beat that guy because then that shows that I deserve this or that. If you have somebody who's a lot older and happens to be frail, they're not going to give you a fight. They might survive, but they're, you know, it's like unless your jiu-jitsu is very lacking technique, then they'll take advantage of that because they know what they're doing because they've been training for so long. But otherwise, you shouldn't be comparing yourself against somebody that age. I remember, I don't know, it was with Henner Gracie. It's funny, Henner and his other brother, I forgot his name right now, I'm sorry. But I remember when I went to Gracie Academy, they were all like maybe 9-10 years old, and they had green and yellow belts on. So this is a long time ago, right? So I remember Henner, I think it was, saying how, you know, look at age. You know, a 10 years difference makes a huge difference. So if you're a blue belt going against, you know, say a purple belt that's 10 years older than you, that 10 years of being younger puts you at their level just because of your natural ability, you know. So people should stop judging other ones on what that person got and how they got their belt, and just focus on yourself. It makes everything more enjoyable. If you go there and you train hard and you do what's right and you get promoted, when you get promoted, appreciate that. Don't compare anything to anybody else, and don't go school hopping. Oh, I deserve to get this. They don't know what my value is. Let me go over there. Oh, you know, there's been people who hop from school to school because they feel like they're entitled, or they got promoted early and then they realize when they train somewhere else, they weren't at that belt level. So these are all things to look at. So when it comes to promotions, if you know you're in the right school and you've been there for a while and that's your home, there's nothing to worry about. Just practice, be a good student. A good student has a lot of things that reflect who you are and reflect to your teacher. So it's like not just be on time, be early so maybe you could warm up a little bit, right? Always be on time to class. I know work plays a role in it and family stuff, but somebody who's chronically late, that's like disrespect to the teacher. Again, when you're in class, listen to the teacher, do exactly what the teacher says. When they teach the move, pay attention. When you practice the move, do the move they taught. Don't do something else that you think is better. Don't do something else you saw on social media. Do what they taught you in class and show that you respect the teacher, you respect their knowledge, you respect how they care about you, you respect them sharing with you don't have this new perspective of being entitled where you think you deserve everything and deserve to get everything. This is like a new thing that has nothing to do with being a martial artist. A martial artist should have a sense of honor, respect, loyalty, dignity, integrity. These are all things part of a martial artist. Now with the whole mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, it's like you get a bunch of assholes coming into your school wanting to learn just to beat people up. And the next thing you know, they're the ones hurting your students. So be a good student, be a good training partner, give the energy and focus when you're the uke or, the dummy or the person that they're doing the move on. Give them that attention and awareness so they could get the move done and learn it the right way. All these things really circle around being a good student. And the teacher will notice that, and they'll promote you when they need to. If they hold you back when you feel your skills are like this, but they hold you back at the level that you are, maybe it has nothing to do with your jiu-jitsu. Maybe it has to do with who you are as a person, and that teacher doesn't want to promote you to the next level because you represent them, especially in the higher belts. I would never want to say, oh yeah, do you know so-and-so, that person's such a cocky asshole and they're disrespectful. It's like, isn't that your black belt? No teacher's going to be like, oh yeah, that's my student, I'm so proud of him. They don't want that. So all those things play a difference. So when you're looking at getting promoted, why you haven't got promoted, why you haven't got that stripe, or why you did, reflect on all these things. These things will help you a lot, I promise you, because I've been around this for a long time. I started training jiu-jitsu in 1996 under, of course, the Grand Master in my eyes. So, all right, so hopefully all this stuff helped you. I'm gonna put a little bit of a clip of the person who got promoted, who's probably in their 70s or 80s. And also, if you like the content, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe. I usually never say all this stuff, which I need to because people watch it and they don't leave anything. If you have a comment that's constructive and helpful, or if you have any ideas any questions to give me other ideas for other videos, I would truly appreciate it, because my channel's not about jiu-jitsu, it's just life in general. And I have probably a few more things that I'll talk about. But if you guys have something that I could rant on or explain verbally, nothing's technique-wise here, or I could talk about certain things, leave a question like that in the comments, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thanks again for stopping by and giving me your time.
But nobody told me. The best I can do, I can just tell you my story. I had my kids late because I was busy training. So I had my first son, Marcel, I had him when I was about 40. So they grew up in Long Beach. So I said I wanted my boys, go to school over here. So his first day of elementary school, Manoa Elementary, the first day he comes home and he tells me, he said, "Dad, you're so old." I don't know how, but I was busy. And the only thing I can do is, and the reason why is his classmates' parents were in their 20s and I was about 40. And so the only thing I could do is just try to keep up with the boys. So, I cannot get younger. So anyway, that's how it started. So they were going judo, soccer, and baseball, and all that kind of stuff. And my wife was taking them all over. Sometimes 6 hours a day, they would travel all over the place, going to all their activities. Anyway, they were going judo, and I don't know, they came home one day and they said, "Hey, Dad, we don't like to judo anymore." I said, "Well, you got to do one team sport and one martial art. So you do judo." And he said, "No, we don't like to judo anymore." So I said, "Then what you like to do?" Then we like to jiu-jitsu. I said, "Same thing." They said, and so, little did I know, they were watching UFC. So, like a good father, I asked one of my friends, and he said, "Yeah, get some guys from Brazil teaching judo up at UH." And I said, "What is Portuguese going to teach us?" Check them out. So I go over there, and I go down there, and there was a big ballroom. just full of people. Must have been close to 100 people in a ballroom at UH. So I go over there, I said, Jesus, man, they're all men over here, all in their 20s and 30s. So I said, geez, I'm gonna bring my kids away. They're only about 10, 12 years old. So anyway, I registered my name because I'm gonna pay all their dues. So I registered my name and I walked away and she said, sir, you know, is this a 3-month wait? I said, okay, I'll wait 3 months. So I came down over there 3 months later and I said, hey, you know, you guys called me, you guys had opening. So I said, here's my 3 boys' names that I'm going to enroll. And this is Helson's girlfriend. She told me, you put your name, that's for you. If you want the 3 boys come, you didn't put their names. So I said, this is for you. So I said, hey, I'm the parent, I'm going to be paying for all they do. They said, no. You put your name, that's for you. I said, you expect me to do this? So she said, I said, okay. Put my 3 boys' names, and I walked away. She said, oh, but sir, you know, we offer you a free lesson. So I came back and said, you expect me to do this? Now, I was rolling around and had one tough Korean guy who's rolling with me, kind of rugged guy too. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the roll, he put his head back and said, hey, how old are you? I said, 53. Oh, he lightened up. That was John Woo. So anyway, that's how it started, because it was kind of rough. So I figured, I don't want anybody working over my son. So what I did was I said, I better start going over here so that I can at least prepare them and start teaching them some of the moves. So 3 months later, they came. I think maybe for the first week, I was showing them some moves. After that, I would have to ask them, hey, how you do that? You know, they pick up so much faster. So anyway, that's how it started. So what I decided to do was I would just kind of chaperone my kids, and I would just kind of help out. That's why I always mop the floor, because when I mop the floor, I feel like I'm trying to give safety to the rest of the players. That's why I mop. I feel like